All right, welcome everybody. We are on block 12 of Adventures in Log Cabin. Yes, we are up to the last official block of the Adventures in Log Cabin series. We are going over basically how to construct this last block. It is a paper pieced block, not foundation, but paper pieced, and we are going to have some fun. It is actually a little bit of both, in my opinion. You have a foundation to work with, but you do eventually rip the foundation out. It doesn't actually stay. In a lot of foundation blocks, they tend to stay. It's if I have that correct. Sometimes some of this, the foundation parts of it kind of are a little tricky in my head trying to keep that stuff straight. You're welcome to correct me if I get that wrong, because I would definitely like everybody to know exactly the right terminology so you don't get messed up. I know a lot of the paper piecing, like English paper piecing, you cut out a little piece, you add a little fabric to it, and then you stitch together with another one. That's actually paper piecing. But those papers do eventually come out, most of the time. Sometimes I leave them in. That's what I told her, Miss Sheila. Sheila says, cards, sounds like a class. That's what I told her. So she brought me over some postcards and said, here, this is how you do it. And I guess that was the extent of the class. But I would love it if she would just, one day we could all just get together and play and make postcards. I love the idea. Absolutely love it. Yep, Miss Diane says, we've discussed a class. I know. I'm going to drive y'all crazy, aren't I? Hey, I just think that, if you have something, a specialty that you like to do, teach other people how to do it. That's how this works. Okay, so let me just get us started here. So with your last clue, you got 4 of these in there, and you have to put these together. So I want to show you what I did, and then I need to kind of come in this way. So you have 2 top pieces. Here are your 2 top pieces. You need to decide which one you want to do on the top and which one you want to do on the bottom. And it doesn't matter, whatever you're comfortable with. I did the one on the left because I am right-handed. And that's what's easiest for me. So you just line that up with that black line. This is paper, so I would, if you have a paper rotary cutter, I would use that, and I just don't have mine out on the table right now. And you can use your rotary cutter, you can use a pair of scissors. I did use scissors on one, I did the rotary cutter on another one, so just use what you're comfortable with. You're also going to need some tape, which I have mine right here. Okay. And you're going to want to line it up. Make it look all nice and pretty. I was actually doing this last night, watching a guy play RoboCop, a video game. One of my favorite video gamers. Yes, I'm a gamer at heart, y'all. I hate to say it, but I love video games. Ever since they started doing it, I just find it to be extremely interesting. And so since I can't really find time to play the games, I watch other people play the games, and I actually enjoy that because I'm very, very bad at video games. I have terrible hand-eye coordination, and things are always slipping on me. Okay, so same thing here, except for some reason that did not print on that one. That's weird. Let me check the size on that because that lines up perfectly. Yeah, that was weird. Okay, well that one you don't even have to cut apart. Just line it up and tape it down. And you only really need to tape the part that's right there. And then we're just going to come back here. And I did leave a little extra around the outside because it just gives me a little something to work with. Noisy, sorry about that. Gives me a little something extra to work with. And then Again, we're going to cut off. Can you see? Am I in there all right? If you can't see something, if something is missing, please let me know. We're just going to line that up. And yeah, I'm kind of getting as close to that black line as possible without leaving it too much behind. Okay. Now I know some of you said you had trouble with the printing part of it. And the best thing I can say is most of our printers, when they print in fit to paper. If you look at your printer, oftentimes there's a little button at the bottom. It's usually blue or something, and it says see more. So if you click on that button that says see more, underneath it it'll have about 3 little spots on it. One will say, I don't even remember what the first one says, but the second one says print to page or fit page, and the other one will say actual size or print to actual size. You want actual. You want to print the actual. And as far as I'm concerned, this part does not have to be exact, but I do about a half an inch extra all the way around until later when I trim all the way down. I manually change the scale on my printer. Yeah, and that is the case on some of those because they don't give you, you don't actually have that thing that says actual size. I need to look and see what that actually says because I did know what it means. I didn't know what it said. All right, and so this is the piece we're going to work on, and if you measure it, it should measure 12.5 by 12.5. Yep, that looks good. And that was the piece that we would use. So if you measure this piece right here, this little 1-inch mark, it should measure 1 inch from the one black line to the next black line. Okay? And there you go. That's what you need for your paper. Now, I already have one done, so I'm going to move this one out of the way. All right, so the very next thing we're going to talk about is light boxes. Now, for this, yes, you are going to need something that you can see through, whether you're using the window or if you have a light box, that's great. But if you don't have a light box, here's one of those clear craft containers. We all use them as project boxes. I don't know how well you can see it, but it's a project box and it's clear. You can use the ones that are blue or red or, you know, colored, but just make sure they're very, very translucent. You don't want to, you need to be able to see through it, okay? And the clear ones are better for that. But if all you have is like the red or the blue or the pink or something, just go ahead and use it. The other thing I did is I got a light. I actually have 2 lights. I have 2 lights, 2 different ones from the Dollar Tree, as you can see. And you can just drop either one of those lights inside and turn it on. And now you have a light box. And there. And now you can see what you got going on the back side. So here's the skinny. We're going to be working on the back side. All the lining up we're going to do on the back side of this. Okay? Everybody following me? So the very first piece we're going to start with the center piece. Okay? So what we need to do, and I'm going to grab my other light box, the one that I use. I got this at a quilt show last year. I think it was the Lakeland Quilt Show. Ooh, that's what that was there for. I was sitting there trying to figure out what that cord was up there for. Now I remember. Okay. So let me see. I'm afraid if I touch this, I'm going to wind up messing up one of the cameras, and I'm really, really bad about that. If I move the cords around, I'm afraid it'll start messing up the cords. All right, let's see here. Where can I plug this in at? Oh, I think I can plug it up right here. Okay. This has got a great power source. It just uses a micro USB cord, and it turns on just like that. And it gets brighter and brighter and brighter. Although I think my camera's going to dim it, dim it, dim it. Okay. All right, so here's my paper. Again, we are working on the back side. Okay. And you're going to start with your 6 by 6 piece of fabric. The 6 by 6 piece of fabric. And you're going to put it right side up. And you're just going to make sure that all 4 edges are down. Okay? Now here's what I do. Grab me some double-sided stick tape. If you don't have it, just make do. You could do just a little dab of glue or just pin it. Pinning's still an option. And then you just put it. Last night when I was trying to do this, it wouldn't get off my fingers. The tape stayed on my fingers. Okay. Double-sided stick tape. I have like 3 or 4 of these rolls. I have them in almost everything. And I keep them very handy because they come in handy for all kinds of things. Okay. So the first one we really want to start with is, let's take a look here. It actually has a 1, 2, and 3. 1 is where we're going to start. Okay, gotta put my glasses on. Here it is, A1. So if you look at the paper, wow, it's a good thing I put my glasses on because I couldn't see a thing. So there's A1, A2. We already have this one on. Now we're going to go to A1, and we're going to start with A1. And if you look at it, A1 is going to be the, we're going to call it the blue side. Let me grab a pen. So this is our blue side. This is going to be our red side. Blues, just so I don't lose track of what we're working on. Okay. Everybody following so far? Okay. So we're going to flip it back over. And starting with the light blue, that's going to be the smallest F piece. The smallest F piece. Ooh, I need to turn my iron back on. My iron's cranking up. Okay. See that line right here? Now I'm only going to draw this because I need you to see it. I need you to see where it's at. And this is my friction marker. Okay. So that's our line right there. Not the whole line, it's just part of the line. So if you look, it's right there. Okay. And we just need to make sure that this piece, we're going to put this piece, this light blue piece, face down at about 1/4 of an inch. It doesn't have to be perfect, just make it 1/4 of an inch over that line. Not too close, not too far away. Okay? And if you want to get used to it, you can, this edge right here, see how it's edged right here? Just make sure you're just slightly over that part. And then you can let the rest of it hang over, just like that. Okay? Now, here's the tricky part. We're going to take this piece and we're going to grab it like this. And we're going to take it, and what we're going to do is we're going to hold it like this and flip it over onto the sewing machine like that. Okay? This is how I do it. Now, there is another way you can do it, and that's by using your trusty piece of tape, and then just take it off after you're done. So if you put your tape down there, I'd say pin it, but you still have to get those pins out. You can't leave those in there when you're running it along here, but this is how I do it. And I don't actually use the tape. I flip it over. All right, so I'm going to change the camera angle, and we're going to go to the, there we go. Okay. So I've got my paper. I'm going to take it. I'm going to flip it over, slide my hand out, and then put it underneath. We're going to stitch this line right here all the way to here. Can you see it? From here all the way to here. Let me turn my light back on because I can't really see. I thought it was going to be in the way, but maybe not. Maybe yes. Here, let me try turning it up. That's a little better. There we go. We'll just reflect it off of the sewing machine. All right, so we're going to sew from here and follow this all the way down. Now, the one thing you want to remember, though, is kind of take a peek and make sure that it hasn't flipped up on you. But you want to change your stitch length from 2.5 or 3. I use 3 a lot of times. Some people use other, 2.5. Some people use 2. You want to crank this all the way down to 1.5, somewhere between 1 and 1.5. You need a very small stitch length because you need it to create a perforation in the paper to make it easy to pull out the paper later on. Okay, so here we go. Just guide it down and follow. And again, just keep an eye on this line here. You want to just follow this line and make sure we get all the way down to here and stop right there. All right, and if you flip it over, you can see what a beautiful job we just did. And then I would go ahead and take that piece of tape off of there because it'll drive you crazy otherwise. Like it's driving me crazy right now. See, I bet you didn't think stilettos were great for just about everything, did you? Did you? All right. Any questions so far? Okay. We're going to bring in the iron. God, I hope this doesn't mess up my light box. We'll try to only leave it on for just a little bit. All right, let's get the camera back over here. Okay. So once again, you want to use your trusty wood iron. Being attacked by thread. All right. Use your trusty wood iron, which you'll find in my Etsy shop. I still have a few left. And then we're going to go ahead and once it's down, then we're going to go ahead and iron it. Okay. See how beautiful that looks? Okay. Our very next color, we're going to turn it. And the next one we're going to do is going to be the next color, which is red. So we're going to alternate. It's going to be light blue, pink, light blue, pink. For now, the first 2 rows are all the same. Oh, pink, 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 pink. Let's see, which ones are, oh, I think they're all the same. I think I did the colors the same. Okay, so here's our pink. We're going to flip it down. We're going to bring it right about to there, because my line is right there. And that brings it slightly over. And it's over this edge as well. So I think we're safe. Remember, it's face down. And with this one, the fold over is actually not very There's not a whole lot on that first one, so if you go over a little bit, it's okay. And we're going to take it, we're going to flip it down on my sewing machine. I'm going to switch the camera so you can see it. Make sure it didn't slide out on me. Okay, everything looks good. Put it in there, and we're still working with 1.1 to 1.5 stitch length. And just follow that line right down to the end. Just stopping at the square. Okay, do y'all see that? Can you see? We stopped right here at the square. This line right here is for the next one, so don't go too far, okay? Put this down. All right. Okay, so here's what we've got. We've got the pink down. We're going to flip it over, and that's what it's going to look like. All right, so here's where we're going to start trimming. So we've got this one over, we've got this one here. You're actually going to pick it up and you're going to fold it. Keep the pink right sides to right sides, okay? Don't open up your pink yet, okay? We're going to fold this out. Now I do have an add a quarter, but I forgot to bring it over with me. So let me figure out where I put my ruler. Well, that was fast. And I already managed to lose my ruler. Oh, there it is. Okay, hang on. I see it. I know I should have one spot. I should put it all the time. Okay, so here's where we're going to line up a 1/4 inch on your ruler, and we're just going to take off all this extra. Remember, your pink is still folded under. We haven't ironed it out yet. Keep it ironed, keep it under. Do not iron it out yet. I've already done this. I already made the mistake. I ironed it, flipped it over, cut it, and realized that I cut off the part that I just sewn on. And so you want to be careful. Do not have it flipped out. Keep it flipped under. Keep it face to face. This one is the only one that you want to have out there. And just cut that off. Now you have a nice 1/4 inch right here, and you're not going to have a bunch of extra stuff laying out there. All right, now that you have that done, you can flip this out. I can use your wood iron, your pointy, your turner, whatever it is that you use, and just flip that out like that. And we're going to bring this in and iron it down. Beautiful. Gorgeous, just gorgeous. Okay. All right, let's do the next one. We're back to the blue. Grab your small blue piece, your small F, your shortest F piece. And if you look, there's your line. We just want to make sure that we are slightly over that line. Not slightly. It's best to have a 1/4 inch if you can have a 1/4 inch. And get used to having, because of your edge, because of the way this is going to go, get used to having only just a little bit over that way, but a lot more over this way. Okay? A little bit on this side and a lot more on the left side. Yes, absolutely, Miss Maggie. Miss Maggie says, I also pre-fold all lines before I start sewing. You could also trace the lines using an old-fashioned tracing wheel. Makes it easier. Yes, absolutely. Gosh, those tracing wheels have come in so handy over the past few years that, you know, even just using them as a tracing wheel, they have so many more options, so many more uses which one now? We are on the F, the short blue. Letter F, the short blue. And that one's going to go down next. It's going to go right side to right side, right up to that edge. And with the way we had you cut it, you should have a little bit extra so that if you get a little too far, more than 1/4 inch, you should be okay. Okay? All right, I'm going to put this where I don't put it down somewhere and lose it. Now I'm going to switch cameras and we're going to move it over. Let me get my tape out of the way. I'm bumping into my tape over here. All right, so let's switch cameras. And again, this is how I'm going to pick it up. I'm going to slide one hand here and one hand here, and I'm going to take it like this, and I'm going to flip it over and put it down and slide my fingers out from underneath it. And I'm going to do it where my fingers are holding this end down and sliding with it like that. Well, hey, Miss Claudine. Welcome. Okay. So here's the colors. And let's turn this off. I'm going to lift this up and show you how I do this. And slide my hand out, turn it so that it's facing the right direction. I'm going to look to make sure that it didn't flip up on me, that it's still where it should be. I'm going to follow this line from right here, and I'm going to stop right there. Go to here and stop right there. If you were to go on, just make sure you go straight out. Don't follow this line. This line is for something else, and if you follow this line right here, then what's going to happen is you're going to have a little kink or a spot that's going to go the opposite direction. So when you try to iron it out, it's not going to iron well. So you either stop right here or just keep going straight out this way. Honestly, just stop here at the corner. So for this first round, we're just following the line from here all the way down to right there. Okay? All right, let's get this done here. I just want to make sure that it doesn't undo on me. Okay, let's switch cameras again and take a look at what we've got. Okay, looks good. Okay, so let's leave them facing each other. So let's leave them right sides together. We're going to, now the reason I like to do it after I've sewn is only because since it's perforated it makes folding it so much easier. And I don't have to fight with, trying to, which I did fold a couple of the edges last night as I was working on it, on one of the blocks, but I was fighting with it. I kept wind up hitting it with my nails and digging into it. All right, and remember, do not iron out that piece just yet. Let's get this cut first. Then, once you get it cut, once you get that trimmed to 1/4 inch, then you can flip this out. Okay? Let's use our wood iron. Hey, Miss Margaret. I did notice that the way this was on here was kind of weird. My EQ8 was the one that labeled all these, and I probably should have gone back and renumbered them all. Yes, that was the blue I sewed on. Because we're going in opposites, but we're still following around the block. So we're going around the block, and this is what's creating that swirl pattern, that twisted pattern. Okay? And so there's one here, two here. I gotta put my glasses on. Three's there, and we could go the other direction, although for me, I don't know why we would, because that doesn't even make sense to me. But again, just the EQ8 set that up for me to number it. I should have renumbered it. Okay, there we go. And then we're going to iron it. All right. Just keep going around, just keep following around. We're just going to do the fourth one next, which the numbers do not correspond with that. Just keep going around. So the next one that's red, next is your pink one. We're going to do another pink one. Okay? So pink side down, find the line. I think I'll stay the way I've been going. I've got the salvager on that side. Okay. All right. And we're going to flip that over. Let's change cameras. We're going to make sure that it didn't slip out on us. Looks good. Oh, and the booger got undone anyways. Okay. Checking again. Yeah, it looks good. Okay, slide that in there. And we're going to stitch from here all the way to here. I'm going to get that out of the way. I say that one did not want to dry very well. Okay, let's take a look at it, see how we did. There we go. F and G. Yes, F and G. Absolutely. We are using color F and color G. And we're going to do one more round and we're still going to be using color F and color G. So this is F, this is G, and this one was E. Okay? All right, that looks good. Now we're going to trim. Make sure colors stay together. See, it went kind of wild on me. But I think if I iron that down, it'll be okay. It's just like the whole thing just wanted to go in a different direction. All right, so flip it over, fold it back, because where you stitched will create a nice place to fold. Line it up for 1/4 inch, and again, it doesn't have to be perfect, but 1/4 inch will give you just what you need. Get all that off of there. Bring over ironing pad, and then we'll go over this one more time just so you can see what colors we did. Okay, so the last color we just did on our first round of colors, and it doesn't look like much right now, but just give it a moment. Give it just a little bit of time. I think you're going to start seeing it, and it'll start to make sense. Because once you start trimming up on that 1/4 inch, a lot of this excess that's overlapping is going to start to disappear. Okay, so we're back to the first one. This was the very first piece we put down. Then we went here and did the G. Then we did the F, and then we did the G. We started with this one, which was E, and then we did F, G, F, G. And now we're going to go back to the beginning to this one right here. And I know I'm going to write on it, but it's not going to matter because we're going to iron it. It's going to go away again. So this is our beginning. Okay? And then when I cut that off, it's going to do the same thing. Okay. So we're going to take another blue. Now, if you look, right here's our line. And I'm going to draw a line right there. Okay. That's going to be our sew line. That's where we're going to be sewing. Okay. So we're going to take another blue. We're going to take another F. 2, 3, yep, okay. Just making sure I still have plenty. And we're going to put right sides together. We're going to go 1/4 of an inch over that spot, just like this. Everybody following? And come back up. So have just a little bit over here, but have more over here because you're going to be sewing further. So you want to come at least 1/4 of an inch over that spot. And if you need to draw on it, draw on it. If you need to fold it over to see where the, if you need to fold that section over, then fold it over. I just draw on it, and I use my light box. I use my light box to show me where the line is. But if you're having trouble see it, then draw the line on the fabric. Just like that. And you'll find that it will probably move on you a little bit here and a little bit there. All right, so let's pick this up. We're going to flip it over. Well, I'll try to fix whatever's confusing as much as I can. And I think really if I just, it's a matter of just making sure that we change those numbers in the block. Again, I don't know why they listed them like that. Maybe they had another way of stitching those in there. All right, so for this one, we're going to stitch from here, and we're going to follow it all the way down past this point, all the way down to this point right here. Okay? Everybody see that? Start here and go all the way down past the point to here. Okay? Here, let me, from here to here. Okay? Let me take a quick look, make sure my fabric hasn't moved too much. Okay, there we go. And let's give it a stitch. Does anybody have any questions so far? Okay. Then we're going to look and see how we did. I'm going to bring that up. So far looks good. Yes, I like it. We're going to leave it face down. We're going to leave it right sides together. Bring it over here. Let me change the camera angle. I'm saying that so y'all know that I did not forget the camera angle right now. Isn't that terrible? All right, so now that we have this and we're at right sides together, like this, we're going to keep this out. We're going to fold it. And this is going to be a little scary because you're going to see this huge chunk of fabric right here, but don't worry, because as long as the piece you sewed on is still folded under and not out, then you're good. And we're going to 1/4 of an inch snip all that right off. And if you have add a quarter ruler, that is great. Please feel free to use it. Okay. Let's get all that out of the way. I'm going to flip that over. Flip that over. that out of the way. And follow that all the way down. And there you go. Isn't that beautiful? Okay. Okay. How we doing, Miss Margaret? Are we still messing you up? Okay. There's that line right there. That's the line we're going to be following. Let me, wonder if I can see it a little better if I move that. The red's a little harder to see through. Okay. Now we're going to grab another pink, which would be a letter G, I believe. Yes, letter G. We're going to grab a pink. We're going to do right sides together, just slightly over that edge. And again, we're going to have more on the end than we are on the beginning. Just like that. I'm going to slide this back underneath here. Okay, change angles. My little dots kind of confused me there for a second. Realized it was on the other side. Okay, and so we're going to start right here, and we're going to follow it all the way down, all the way to the end. And I'm going to mark it right here, and we're going to stop right here. Follow it all the way from the top, past the point, down to where this first mark is. This is a straight line. Okay. That looks good. Beautiful. Okay. So let's take a look over here. Get this camera. Okay, same thing. We're going to take it, pull it up. Keep the pink turned down, the G color. Keep the G color turned down. Facing right sides to right sides. See? Still right sides to right sides. Flipped it over this way. Just going in circles, Miss Maggie. You're right. We're just going to keep going around and around and around. Just like a regular log cabin. Flip it open. Admire our pretty work. Look at that, starting to come together already. Looking pretty. Now, if y'all catch me mispronouncing or missaying something, like I'm trying to say 4 inches and I say 3 inches instead, it's okay for you to correct me because I need to know, especially because when I'm doing the video, I want to make sure that I catch little things like that on the video as well. Okay, so we're going to turn it. Now we're working on the next one. Now we're back to the blue or the F. And that's so much easier to see through that blue. And this just gives us a kind of a goal to know exactly how far over to go. All right, so let's grab that blue, that F color, and it's going to go right sides to right sides. And again, I'm going to come just over this spot right here and that spot right there. Okay, leaving a lot more to the left and just a little bit over on the right. Okay, and let's switch angles. We're going to turn it, and I'm going to recheck my fabric, make sure it didn't slide away from me, because that does happen. That looks good. And we're going to start right up here at the top, right here at the top, and we're going to come all the way and stitch all the way down to this end right here. And we're going to stop right here. And I'll be honest, there was a couple times I had to remind myself where to stop, only because sometimes these lines look the same, and they're not. Okay. We're going to flip it over, take a look, make sure everything's in place. I'm sorry, I did it again. Okay. So making sure that before you press it, make sure you trim it off first and then you can press it. Guys, I'm so sorry. Thank you, Miss Claudine. I guess I can't go one video without doing it at least once. So if we're doing it this early, you guys probably expect to see it again. All right. So now we're up to the next pink, which is the letter G. And this should be your last G. This one should be your last G color, your last pink. Okay, and I'm just going to find that spot right there. If you don't have a light box, remember you can use a window or a one of your project boxes. Let me just show that again one more time. This is a project box where we put 12.5-inch blocks will fit in very nicely, and you just need to put a light in it, a light source, like this one, and then you have a beautiful box, a beautiful light box. It's not real strong, but it works. And I got this from the dollar store, and this I think I got from Joann's before they became astronomically expensive. And I think you also can get them from Hobby Lobby as well. Probably get them from Amazon. And some of the drawers that pull out of the slots, these fit in there as well. The clear is better, but you can use a blue or a pink. And then this one is kind of nice. It has, I think my batteries are about dead in that because it's pretty weak. But this one definitely is pretty nice. And again, I got it from like the Dollar Tree. Anyways, that's a good place to get something, just a makeshift light box, especially if you're not going to be doing a lot of paper piecing. It's a good way to kind of conserve, some of that money. All right, so again, we're going to just put it over the edge, right there to there. And then let me get and change the camera angle. You stay on me. You see me not moving and I'm talking. You can mention camera. Please do. Absolutely. Okay. And we're going to slide it in there. We're going to go from here all the way down to there. There. From here all the way to there. Remember, your stitch length is supposed to be at 1 to 1.5. It's going to create that perforation that you're going to need to be able to get the paper out later. It will make tearing out the paper a whole lot easier. Okay. All right, so we got it on our seat. It did slide a little bit, but that's okay because the widest part of this strip is up here and the narrowest part is down here. So if we flip it over, we still cover that with more than enough fabric. Okay, so before we flip it over, we're going to keep it right sides to right sides. We're going to bend it up and cut it off. And watch out, because I noticed that my fabric wanted to flip up on me a little bit, and you could accidentally get a little piece of it caught and cut it off. And then it'll mess up your whole thing, and you got to start over again with that one little piece. And listen, if you've ever tried to seam rip a 1 to 1.5 inch seam, that's tough. I did it several times last night. Yes, even I have to seam rip once in a while. Okay. Let's take a look here. Looking beautiful. This is actually, in my opinion, not as hard as people think it is. I know people moan and groan about, doing paper piece or foundation piece, and this is actually pretty easy. Because as you're stitching it down, all these next stitches are going over the top are securing all the other pieces, like over here and here. All those pieces that were floating around out here are now stitched down. Takes you at least a round or two to get to all of them, but it works. All right. So we were still using the blue, which is next. We're going to come to this one. And we'll know which one is next because we'll still have this piece hanging out here. And this says this was the last piece we did, so this is the next piece. So we're still doing the F color. There are 3 pieces of the F color. And we're going to be doing this piece right here, and again, I'm just going to mark it so I know how far over to go. Okay. I'll leave my pen lid off. That'll be easier on me. Okay. So we're going to come over this edge just a little bit and this direction. Okay. All right, so let's switch the camera back and pick it up, flip it over. And now we're going to be stitching this piece right here all the way down past where we did and stop right there. We're going to go past that and we're going to go to this spot right here. From there to there. So with each row we go past, we go through, around, the stitch is going to get a little bit longer and a little bit longer. Not the stitch length, just for how much you're going to be stitching. And there it is. Okay. Yep, looks beautiful. Let's take a look here, get the camera back in place. All right, looks great. Beautiful. Now before we iron it, we're going to flip it over. And and it's okay to watch too. In fact, that was one of the things I recommended, that if you're not able to get to work on this right away, or you want to see how it's done first, watch it. Watch and see what happens. But believe it or not, this is actually a very easy block. Okay. I'm going to have a lot of scraps to put in dog beds very soon. Okay. And then we're going to flip this over like this. Now if you notice, this piece is a little bit bigger because as we go further out, these sections are getting bigger. So the first ones were pretty tiny, but now they're getting a little bit bigger, and as they get further out, they're going to get even bigger. But that's why the size of the strip changed as we went. So how's everybody feeling about this block so far? This is a beautiful block. I love this block. But I think the first time after I was done with the design on it, I was like, oh, people are going to hate me. This is nothing new. This block has been the twisted or the curved or, you know, the log cabin has been reimagined and redesigned in so many different ways. I was just happy to be able to take it and reimagine it as well. Okay. I need a little drink of water. My throat's starting to get a little dry. Okay. So we know this is the last one we worked on. So the next piece up is going to be the light red, which is the eye color. The eye color. And that is this one right here. We're going to find that next spot. It's kind of hard because the light box itself has lines on it here. And so it creates a confusion for your brain because you're trying to find the line, but then you see all these other lines. And there we go. All right. Now I can see. And we're going to go right sides together. And put that piece there. I'm going to slide this back underneath here so it's out of my way. Okay. Let's change the camera angle real quick. Get that over here, and we're going to just check it real quick and make sure that everything stayed and nothing slid out of the way. Yep, looks good. Okay, and we're stitching from there all the way down to this spot right here. Okay. All right, that looks good. Looks like it went exactly where it was supposed to. Let's come on over here. We're going to flip it up, keeping the right sides together. And there we go. And there we go. And one quick press. Okay, and then we're going to be working on this next spot, which is going to be the very last light blue that we're going to be using. So that's the very last F. Should only have one piece left, and this should be it. I can see the line in here really good right now, but I can't pick up my ruler. Okay, and again, the only reason I'm placing this line is just so I see how far up my line is. Do right sides together. Come over about a quarter of an inch. I was going to say half an inch, no, quarter of an inch. Just like that. Okay, looks beautiful. Let's change camera angles. Turn it. And we're going to be going from here all the way down to here. I'm going to put my thumb right there. Pretty soon that stitch, that length will be a little bit longer than probably my thumb can reach. Okay. Looks beautiful. Looks like we did a good job there. Oops, sorry, that's not supposed to be down. Looks like we did a good job. We just need to move it over, trim that up. Got the camera coming on. All right, so right sides together, still. Okay, see, right sides together. If you have to check it every time, check it every time. There we go. There we go. Then we're going to flip that back out. Now imagine a whole quilt of these. You could do amazing things, and you can not chain piece per se, because that's a lot to try to chain piece this, but you could do one section, one right after the other, and you could do a whole beautiful quilt of just these log cabin reimagined. Okay, so this piece we just did, now we're going to go to here, and we're going to add on another one of the light reds, or the eyes. Light red or eye. Okay, here we go. Light red, or the eye. We're going to put that right here. And again, we're going to be over just a little bit on the right side, but we are definitely going to be over, way over on the left. Right side, left side. A little over on the right, way over on the left. Okay. Just want to make sure that we're over by at least a quarter of an inch. We're going to change the camera angle. I'm going to check it because my finger got hooked up on something. Yeah, that looks good. Okay. And, yep, that looks good. Okay. So we're going to stitch from here all the way down to here. And you can feel with your finger whether or not you've already stitched there. Just in case you're thinking, oh, did I already stitch that spot? Nope. Don't worry about it. Just run your finger over it. If there's no seam, no line, then you're good. Just keep on coming until you get down to that end and stop. All right. Looks beautiful. Let's bring it over here, change the camera angle. All right, so before we're going to trim it, we're going to keep it face right sides together. Flip it over. Okay. Get ourselves a beautiful 1/4 inch right there. I can hear a conversation in the kitchen. Wonder what's going on. I found out that May loves Oreo cookies and milk, and will eat them with abandon. She likes them so much. So, of course, everybody has to help monitor the cookie situation. One, I don't think we afford to keep her in cookies. Okay. All right, so now we're switching colors. On the blue side, we are now going to switch to the J color. And we're going to finish it out. We're going to have 3 more J colors. 3 J colors. So we're going to do one at a time, going around and around, just like we've been doing. Everybody following so far? Excellent. Excellent. I think I got mine a little bit backwards. Let me flip this over. There we go. And then the reds. Okay. There it is. I can see through the blue so much easier than I can the red, but that's okay because when we get to the dark blue, it's going to be hard to see it there too. We may have to change up our tactics. Okay. Come over just slightly. So if you look, there's that line. You go over 1/4 inch. Change the camera angle. Okay. And then we're going to stitch from here all the way down to there. Okay. Beautiful. And looks gorgeous. And if you can see, we started 1/4 inch here, and I'm pretty sure we probably ended up with about a 1/2 inch down here. But it's okay because this is the part where there's just a little bit, where the tip of the triangle is. So that's no big deal. Now, if this one had shifted, that could have been a big deal. Too much, and then we would have been out of our comfort zone on that one. All right, let's come on over here. Get the camera in the right place. Nope. Come on. There we go. All right, so right sides together, lift it up, flip it over, and do your 1/4 inch. Got it. Okay. And we're going to flip this over now. Just like that. to turn it, and we're going to do the next one. Okay, as it is getting harder and harder to see the line, I'm going to show you one of the tricks that we can do. Let's see. I was hoping I had a much thinner, but I don't, so we'll have to use this one. All right, so we want to find our very next line. This is going to be our next line right here. So if we put a ruler up to here, just run your hand along it right here, that gives us a predetermined line. Did everybody see that? Okay. So this is the line we're going to stitch next. Okay? Everybody see that? This line right here. So if you take your ruler, but right up close to it, and then take it and bend it, run your hand along the edge to create a little bit of a fold, and then finish creasing it. Then if you take this piece and go ahead and cut that 1/4 of an inch now you see exactly where you need to put your next piece of fabric. All the way down. And our next fabric is going to be the eye fabric. Hang on, this needs a quick iron here. Okay. Now at this point, it's already done to a 1/4 of an inch, so you just put your fabric right up to that line right there. And we're going to take it and we're going to flip it over. Hang on. Tried to use my finger and it didn't like it. My touchscreen did not like it at all. Okay, so the fabric did slip a little bit, but not much. And it did slip a little bit on this side, but not much. Okay. So we're going to go from this point right here all the way down to this point right there. Okay, everybody see that? From here all the way down to here. And yes, it wants to slide all over the place. Okay. Looks beautiful. And now we don't even need to trim. Okay. So I just trimmed off what little bit of extra was there. And now we're going to flip it over. Am I still frozen? There it is. Okay. Sorry about that, guys. I don't know what happened. My camera's froze up. I assume it's my internet. I don't know why, because it doesn't usually give me any trouble. We usually have good internet connection out here. Thank you, Miss Laura. It actually froze up. Sorry about that. Not that I wasn't already going to forget it. Okay. Let's give it a quick iron. And then we're going to do the same thing we just did. So next one is going to be the dark blue, which is the J, but we're going to do it up here. This is our next sew line. So to mark where our sew line is, we're going to, once again, if you can see it, just push it up, give it a little bit of a crease, a little bit of a fold right there on that edge, and then fold it out. Then we're going to take it and we're going to go ahead and create that 1/4 of an inch that we need for stitching. Okay. Now remember, our fabric is still fabric. It's not there. I don't know what I was thinking. Okay, so now we have it all set, and we can bring in our dark blue, which is our J. We're going to put that right there, right up to the edge, because remember we already have our 1/4 inch in there. Okay. I'm going to change our camera angle. Now, does everybody understand what I just did? This is paper piecing. Some people sew through all the lines with their sewing machine without thread to perforate the patterns. Yeah. Cool. Oh, nice. Nice. All right, so Miss Jerry says, this is the method I use with paper piecing. Some people sew through all the lines with their sewing machine without thread to perforate the pattern lines. I like that. The only problem I have found is that the stitches are so close together that sometimes it obliterates the line altogether. Now you can still see it, you can still sew through it, but it's already been perforated and torn because the dots are so close together. But it works. It does work, and I do like that. Okay, so I'm going to flip this over and change my camera angle. Try and do it left-handed. There, okay. I am not a lefty. I am not a lefty. Okay, so checking just to make sure it didn't move too much. And we're going to bring it in here, and we're going to sew from here all the way down to here. You know, when it comes to this pattern, it's great to hear, you know, what one person does. But in the end, it's whatever way you're most comfortable with. And I say if it works, go for it. You know, whatever method works best for you, go with it. And for those who don't have a light box or, you know, don't tend to use light boxes, you know, I get that. I'm going to slide this down just a little bit. There we go. Okay. All right. And so again, if you want to check and just make sure that you have your 1/4 inch still in there, you know, now's a good time to just go ahead and trim off any extras, any extra fabric that's hanging out there. See, that's it, a little bit extra. And then we're going to flip it out and iron it down. And yes, I have seen that method where they just sew right next to the line instead of sewing on the line. See, that's even another way I've seen done. And that's kind of cool. I saw that. I actually have an unfinished project I'm still working on that's using that method. Kind of cool. Okay. So now we're going to come over here. We're going to turn it. This is our next sew line. It is our last light red. And again, we're going to, and that's one of the reasons why you don't want to sew past this part here or too much past this part, because it will cause a problem with trying to flip it over on the next one. Not on this one, but on the next one. Okay. And we're going to flip that over. Personally don't like perforating the pattern. Miss Jerry says, personally I don't like perforating the pattern. Is that because you like to reuse them? Or is it just that you don't like putting your needle through paper? That part I understand completely. Either one. For either reason. But I just tend to. See, this time we used regular copy paper, but I do have some of, I believe it's Carol Doak's paper that I've been using for another paper piece or foundation piece or whatever you want to call it. Piece. All right, let's grab our last piece of red. Our last piece of light red, which I believe is, I want to say I. Let me take a look, make sure I'm telling you the right color. Yes, it is I. So this is our last piece of I, and then we're going to move on to a different color. after this. All right, so we're just going to match that up and then change the camera angle. I like the going through the pattern only because I know where I'm stitching is exactly where it needs to be, and I don't have to worry that I'm making it the wrong size. And that's one of the reasons I like doing it through the pattern, because it's always going to turn out just right, as long as I stitch it right. I don't have to worry about whether or not my needle's shifted a little bit. All I have to do is sew right down the line. And we're going to go all the way to the end of that line, and last one. All right, beautiful. All right, bring you back onto this camera. So we've got this piece right here. We can flip it back again and check it out and make sure that that's 1/4 inch. And again, you don't really need to do this. I mean, it's just, how much is left over is almost negligible. But I'd rather do it and show it to you than not do it and wonder what the heck happened. Okay. But yeah, I imagine that sewing through the paper this much would cause your needle to go dull faster. And we're supposed to change them out quickly anyways. And I probably don't do it as often as I should. So if I taught you a new method, hey, I did my job. I did my job today. Okay, let's get you, and believe it or not, we're almost there. We only have like, what, 2, 3 colors to go? Yeah, I think we've got two more rounds to go, and then this is a done deal. This is a done block. Okay. So let's flip it over. We're going to flip this section piece, this piece right here. And just watch running your hands across paper, because you can still get a paper cut. As I'm running my fingers across it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's a little bit, that's a little sharp for a piece of paper. It's amazing how much a paper cut hurts. All right. Yep, looks right. Honey, is that your car I hear out there, or my car? Or?
I don't know, I'm going to check.
I hear some car alarm going off outside. I'm wondering if it's one of ours. All right, so now we know where we're going to line up the fabric. And we need a dark blue, which is your J color. I have to keep looking. Now, as you can see, we're getting close to the edge. Oh, you must have bumped it while you're sitting in your chair or something. So we're coming to the edge right here, and we just want to make sure that as we're finishing up that we're over the edge here and here. Okay, can everybody see that? Here and here. We're looking for the edge of the pattern. Okay, all right. All right, let's come on over here. Okay, and it came all the way down to the end, to the very edge of the pattern. Okay, let's take a look, make sure everything worked out good. Yeah, see, so right here is the very edge of the next pattern. And if you flip it over, we are well within that edge. So that is really, really good. Okay. Let's come over here. And we're going to recheck that edge one more time. And there we go. And we just cleaned up that little bit of fabric. And again, you don't have to do this. It's barely even worth mentioning, but I want to make sure that I cover everything with you. Now, how many of you have one you're working on right now and you can see the pattern developing, and it's really, I mean, I'm loving it. I think it looks great. Okay, so this is the next angle. Okay, yep, fold looks good. I kind of checked the fold twice. Okay. Remember, our fabrics aren't on yet. This is just going to help us find our edge. And we're going to switch to the dark red. We're going to switch to the H. We're going to switch to the H, and the H is the darker red. Okay? Right sides together. Just make sure that your fabric is covering each pattern to the edge here and here. So this edge here, and then this edge here, that is coming up over the edge. Okay. Let's change. And we're going to stitch from right here all the way down to the end of the pattern right there. Okay, looking good, looking good. All right. Let's just take a look and make sure that we kept our 1/4 inch seam. And it seems like every time I put it down, it slips just a little bit. And that's why I like to have just a little extra fabric width-wise, so that I make sure that it doesn't bring me up short. That looks so good. All right, let's get that iron down. Okay. All right, so this is the side we're working on next. We're going to flip this over. We probably don't even need the light box for this. Let's see. And then we can flip this over like this. So yeah, if you don't have a light box, I mean, there's always this method. I just, especially when the fabrics are dark like this. You have some of the fabrics that are so dark. right. Now we're going to grab another one of those J fabrics. And we're going to put it right here to right here. Okay. We're going to use that edge. Now remember, the whole time that we're doing this, you're creating a 1/4 of an inch over that spot. So you have a 1/4 of an inch to sew on. All right, let's put this down here. And I'll change the camera angle. I wanted to flip over, and I had that happen like 2 or 3 times last night. The tip of the fabric flipped over while I was trying to stitch it down. And I didn't see it till I was done stitching it. Just the fortunate part is it wasn't a part that was going to be seen, so I can snip it out and not worry about it. Ah. This sewing machine is very fast, and sometimes it gets away from me. Okay. Looks good. Let's change our angle. Okay. We're going to flip it over. Got just a little bit left. Just a little bit came over. All right, hang on a second, guys, okay? Hold on for one brief moment. I'm going to mute you real quick. All right. My sweet granddaughter is in the kitchen playing one of her games, and it was getting a little loud. All right. I just didn't want y'all to hear me fussing at her. Okay, don't fuss at her much. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. All right, let's get that iron down. Okay. All right, so the next one we're going to do is we're going to be doing that dark red on this side. The dark red is the H, excuse me, H. So let's flip that side over. Use our ruler to find the edge. And then flip it over like that. Check it, make sure we're on at least close enough. All right. All right. As you can see, these sections are getting just a little bit longer than they were. Which means we are coming close to the end. Let's see, do we get it all? Nope, one piece over here. Yeah, beautiful. Okay. All right, so let's get that H fabric out here. And again, we're going to make sure, because right here is where our edge of our pattern is. And we're going to go right up to there. Switch the camera angles real quick. We're going to stitch from right here all the way down to there. And then we have, I think, one more round to go. And then we're done. We can call this block finished. Okay. Looking good. I'm going to bring that down just a little bit because that fabric is definitely going the full length, isn't it? And again, just got a little bit of cleanup there. We're going to flip that over. Just a little bit of a press, and then we're going to turn, and next we're going to be working on this side. This is the last color for this side. Once we put this one down, then this side is complete. So we're on the last rows, guys. All right, so let's flip this over. We're going to get our ruler out. We're going to just kind of scoring just a little bit. I guess that's what you could call it, scoring a little bit. Turn it so that we can get the whole thing. Measure 1/4 inch. And go all the way down to the end. Nice. All right. Let's grab that last J fabric for this side. And we're going to put it right here to right there. All right, next, let's do this. Make sure it didn't flip up on us, which it did. We're going to sew it from here all the way down to there. Slower is better. Occasionally my foot hits that foot pedal just a little hard, and then it tries to take off on me. Okay. Okay. And as you can see, that's our part right there. Here, let me turn that back on. So there's our corner right there. And we're going to flip it over, and it covers that corner very nicely, and that's what we're looking for. Okay. Flip all that over. Okay, now we're going to give it a little iron. Keep that edge down. Yeah, and this is one of those blocks where you really could use, whatever method works best for you when it comes to this. There are so many different ways to do this. This is just one of the ways I like to do it, and it works for me. And I keep trying different ones because I like the idea of learning new methods, learning new ways to do things. All right. Now we're on the red side. Fold that back. Trim it at 1/4 inch. Okay, now we know where to place our fabric. I'm going to go ahead and turn it back off again. And we're going to grab that last H fabric for this side. Place it here. Oh, that's a little wonky. Let's turn it the other way. I was able to go into my scraps and cut a lot of the pieces from my scraps so that I didn't have to cut a fresh piece or use it from the yardage. And I like to do that. I like to try to use up as many of my pieces as I can. But I tell you, I do have a lot of scraps left over. A lot of scraps. And it flipped over. I don't know if you can see that, but it flipped over on me. So we want to make sure that we get that straightened out. So let's just pick that up and do it again. See, when I kept my hand underneath it the whole time until I slid it off, that definitely worked much better than just trying to lift it with 2 fingers. Looking to see where my feed dogs were to see if there was if I had them adjusted wrong, but nope, they're right where they're supposed to be. Okay. So we see it goes up over that edge. Oh, you can't really see that edge real good. But it goes up over that edge where we're going to trim. And it looks beautiful. All right, let's flip that back over and we're just going to check our seam and make sure that it's 1/4 inch. Oh yeah, it looks like it's pretty much almost dead on accurate. Almost. Okay. Okay, let's iron that. 2 more pieces, y'all. We are almost done. I keep trying to tuck this blue one back in there, but it just keeps coming out. It's all right. Pretty soon, as soon as we're done with this, the next 2 sides, then we're going to be trimming up the whole thing. Trimming it up to 12.5 inches. Okay, so this is the next side. We're going to be using the last blue, and I think it is the last blue. Should be down to your last blue strip. Your last J. That will be your last J strip. Okay, yep, perfect. Looks great. Okay, so we're going to turn this a little bit just so I stay in the field of vision. Okay. Let's go ahead and grab that last J fabric. Get it on here. We're going to come all the way out to the edge, to the edge. Trying to make sure it doesn't flip over again. Yeah, that would have been That would have been a lot of seam ripping, and I'm telling you, ripping out these very short seams, these short stitches, it's not easy. Make sure it's... Okay. So yeah, if you've ever done a quilt with a lot of paper in it, it is a pain to pull out all those papers. But the flip side to that is it's probably going to be pretty gosh darn close to perfect. If you follow the seams properly, you're going to have a quilt that is going to be really, really close to perfect. And it's one of the things I like about paper piecing and English paper piecing. It always just looks so beautiful and right. Okay, a little bit of trim up there. We're going to flip this out, and it covers that edge beautifully. Okay. One quick iron. Then we have one more piece, then a trim up, and then this is done. This block will be called done. I want to thank everybody who kind of hung out with me today to do this block. I know looking at it you were probably pretty, well, if you've never done them before, it's intimidating. It'll definitely rock your world because you're wondering, what the heck did I get myself into? But this is so worth it. Again, you get to add another technique to your quilting abilities. And you guys have been so amazing with all the things that you have learned and you've shown me in your blocks. And you guys are doing an amazing job. And I'm loving the colors, and I just can't wait to see these quilts. So as soon as we're done, we're going to go over just a little bit of information on what to expect at the very last instructional video for this quilt. There is one more left. Not a block, but there's one more class left. All right, so you're going to use your very last piece, and it's going to be your dark red, which is your H, and we're going to put it down here, right there. And now we're going to stitch that bad boy down. And let's go ahead and switch angles here. It is a beautiful block. I mean, there are some gorgeous blocks up there, but I really love this block. Let's make sure it makes it in there. Okay, and we're going to stitch all the way down to the end. Looks good. And that one is called done. All right, let's switch the camera back. Can you believe, guys, I've only messed it up once. Only once so far today. Oh, and it covers it nicely. Beautiful. Let's check that seam because I'm pretty sure I'm off just a little bit. Just when I saw it go down, I knew it was off a little bit. Okay. Little bit of waste there. We're going to flip that over. Okay. me give it a quick iron. If I didn't say it, Miss Jerry, thank you. Yes, I think it is a beautiful block. I think it turned out gorgeous, just gorgeous. Okay, let me get rid of some of this stuff on my counter. I can unplug this. And you definitely want to be careful unplugging that kind of light box because that cord is very sensitive. Let's see, we'll put that there. Hopefully it'll stay balanced. All right. So now we're going to take, if y'all hear that in the background, I'm very sorry. Going to take it and go ahead and trim it up. And this one, and believe it or not, I do actually have a rotary cutter that is used specifically for paper, because sometimes I do wind up cutting some patterns that require a lot of paper cutting. Okay, and one more side, and then we're going to flip this over. All right, y'all, there it is. And there is our 12th and final block. I bet you can tell why I saved that one to last. All right, so this is what it looks like in the original pattern. And this one is the one I finished last night. This was my test pattern, so I can make sure that I knew what I was doing. And this is the one that I did about 3 years ago when I first tested the pattern after it came back from the pattern tester. The one that helps me write it and check it. So this was mine. And then hers is actually in the quilt. Okay. So now that we have that figured out, our 12th block, let me go ahead and, oh, how did I do that? I moved that. Okay. There we go. All right, guys. So that was block number 12. That was the last block. As you can see, there's this one, which is done in the V fabrics, and hopefully by the time we have our last class, I'll have this one completed so you can see what the top will look like. I'm going to change it up for that one. I have someone who would like to have that one, so I've already pre-sold that one, believe it or not, to a friend of mine, and we're going to change up the borders and the cornerstones a little bit. But this one is the last one. And so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to be working on the sashing and the cornerstones. So on Monday, you should get the email that will tell you what pieces you need cut for your cornerstones and your sashings. Here's what I challenge you to do. Take your blocks and lay them out and decide which way you want your blocks to go. I'll have mine up on the wall so you can see it, the one that's originally finished. So you can see it, and then we're going to work to put all of those sashings together. I would tell you to go ahead and do it now, but there's a little tweaking to it in that I want you to make sure that you don't frustrate yourself with putting on the sashings and putting it on wrong and not having it on there right. So just bear with me, and we're going to work on it. In the email that I send you, I will try to let you know what you can do ahead of time so that we can do it quickly and get it done fast. All right. excuse me, does anybody have any questions while we're still up and running? And because I don't want to keep you any longer, believe it or not, it's 6 o'clock. That means we've been on for 2 hours. And here I thought this block was going to be quick. Well, actually, I didn't think it was going to be quick, but I thought it was going to be faster than this. Boy, and it's so pretty. I just love these colors. They're so pretty. It turned out great. I loved it the first time I did it. I loved it the second time when the pattern writer went through and did it. And then looking at it now, I'm still in love with it. I am still in love with it. Okay. Good, Sally. I hope you did. I can't wait to see your blocks. I can't wait to see what you guys do with them. Because this is it's a lot of fun. And I know thinking about it can probably be pretty intimidating. And if you wanted to change direction with this, so it's all going in one direction, but say you wanted the blocks to go, you're going to do a whole quilt with them, but you want the blocks to go the other way, just turn the pattern over and work from the other side. And that will actually change the whole direction. And I would love to see any blocks, any quilts that are made from just one of these patterns. I think any one of these blocks would make a gorgeous quilt. So if you think about it and you do decide to make a quilt from just one of the blocks, send me a picture. I'd love to see it. I would love to see it, and I'd love to post it on the Facebook page. If you are viewing this in my YouTube, please remember to like and subscribe. If you are on my SRQ Facebook page, remember to follow, please. The more people I get to follow, subscribe, and like, and the better the content will get out there. And just appreciate everybody's help with that. If you have any questions or comments, please put them in the comment sections. I do my best to try to answer them as fast and as often as I can. And I love hearing from you, especially if you're telling me you're enjoying it. I know I have actually had a couple of thumbs down, and I can't figure out what I have done wrong to get them to give me a thumbs down. That's just a little bit, that makes me sad. But anyways, it's okay, because this is the way business goes, right? Right? Okay. All right. You guys are great. Thank you, Miss Diane. I hope you enjoy your week, and I hope to see your quilt block as soon as you have a chance to work on it. Okay. All right, guys, let me get you out of here, because I'm sure everybody would love to have some dinner. And we're going to break and end with prayer. So let me go ahead and do that for you today. I love praying for you guys. Father, just thank you so much for this amazing opportunity to be able to reach out and teach and to share the knowledge that you have gifted me, the passion that you have imbued in me. I just thank you for that. I give you all the honor, all the glory, and I just ask you to reach out right now in Jesus' name and touch each one of the people. If there's somebody that needs a healing in their body right now, I just ask you to reach out and touch them right where they're at. Let them feel the healing warmth of your touch. Just whatever it is, just take it away from them right now. In Jesus' name I pray, amen. Listen, I hope you guys have a great week. This is Sunday, so I hope you guys are going to have a great week. And again, if you have any questions or comments, please send them on to me, srqquilter@gmail.com. You can go through my YouTube page. You can go through my Facebook page and just send comments. And I love to hear from you guys. I love to see the pictures. And I hope you have a wonderful week. And thank you again for joining me. You blessed me very much with this. You guys have a wonderful week, and God bless.